life throws us situations that can really upset or overwhelm us. But oftentimes, our reactions to those situations are blown way out of proportion for what really happened. If your reaction is hysterical, the cause is historical. But by uncovering the root cause, the severity of the emotions goes away. You become an observer of your emotions rather than reacting, and then can heal the true reason why you're upset. My name's Fairee, and I make videos on mental and physical well-being. So today, I'm going to show you some real-life examples and how to uncover the root cause of your emotions. The first example I want to give is actually from the TV show Married at First Sight. There was an episode where Amber and Matt moved into their apartment together, and Matt put his bathroom things in the guest bathroom.
I don't have two sinks, so you can use two bathrooms.
And Amber got very upset over this.
No,
Yeah,
I'm not your roommate.
Yeah, well,
I don't have sex with my roommates.
She said it was because it made her feel like she was living with a roommate and not her husband, and kind of implied that they should be more intimate by having their bathroom things in the same bathroom.
I don't understand why you want to, have your own space away from me.
Well,
Do you want to just sleep in this bedroom too?
No.
But, she wasn't upset because she felt like a roommate. She wasn't upset that he physically located his toiletries in a different bathroom. She was upset because she had been sensing that he was emotionally distant from her, and putting his stuff in a separate bathroom was a physical sign of his emotional unavailability. But it goes much deeper than that. We could pause there and try to analyze, okay, so why does Matt being emotionally distant bother her? Beyond just, well, duh, obviously, of course, if you like someone and they don't like you back in the same capacity, of course it's gonna hurt you. But if you really think about it, why should that hurt you? If you separate yourself from the emotions and look at it from a logical perspective, what about that causes pain? Well, it reminds her of all the times in the past that she's dated guys that were emotionally unavailable, dated guys who didn't return her feelings, and this is making her feel stuck in the same cycle. But why does that bother her? Maybe it makes her feel like she isn't good enough, like nobody's ever gonna love her, like she doesn't deserve love because she keeps seeing this pattern that guys don't want to get emotionally close to her, so she feels like something's actually wrong with her. And if you break it down even further, something that she mentioned multiple times on the show was the fact that her mother moved away to a different state when she was young. And so this feeling that she isn't good enough, that she isn't lovable, she isn't worthy, reminds her of when she was a kid and her mom left. And as an adult, she recognizes that, her mom leaving had nothing to do with her, it had nothing to do with her worthiness or her lovability. That as an adult you can rationalize, life is complicated as an adult and love is complicated, and her mom moved states away to go live her best life as a lesbian. But adult Amber wasn't hurt, child Amber was hurt. And that sticks with you, that lives in your subconscious. It makes you feel unworthy. And so then once you also start getting stuck in this pattern of dating guys who are emotionally unavailable, and you're put into the situation where you're married to this guy who then puts his toiletries in a separate bathroom, it triggers this memory that I'm not worthy, no guy's ever going to love me. And so she blew up about the situation. Even though it's actually a totally normal thing in a relationship, if you're living in a house that allows it to keep your toiletries in two separate places, super nice, so one person can brush their teeth while the other one shits. It's great. But Amber didn't see it that way. She just saw it as he's leaving me, the same way that her mother left her.
That's what it feels like.
And so it really had nothing to do with Matt and his actions. It had everything to do with it triggering this memory from her past. And of course, Matt actually was a piece of shit and he was completely emotionally unavailable and a liar and a cheater. But if you're in an actually emotionally healthy relationship and you blow up over a situation like this, it might have nothing to do with what's actually going on in your relationship. It might be this deep-seated issue from your past. And if you use the techniques that I'm going to teach you in this video to uncover that root cause, you can have an intelligent conversation with your partner and be like, I'm sorry that I blew up. You were just trying to brush your teeth while I shit. It's all good. It's all Gucci, fam. Because this is not an open bathroom door house. Okay, we don't do that here. That does not happen here. But not every situation is as extreme or as deep as that one. depending on where you are in your emotional intelligence journey, maybe you got home from work one day and your wife left her wet towel on the bed and it just pissed you off. You got so angry that why is her wet towel on the bed that you blew up at her, when really you didn't have that level of anger over her leaving a wet towel on the bed. Like, yeah, it was annoying, but if you stop and you pause and you reflect on your day, you realize that someone cut you off on your way to work and you spilled your coffee and your boss gave you a bad performance review and you're just having like a really bad day, and you took out that anger on your wife, and you might not realize that it wasn't actually the towel that made you angry, that it was actually the rest of the events that precipitated your day. There's a whole spectrum of what sort of level the emotions, how deep they go, and to what level you can uncover them, just depending on where you are in your emotional journey. And this is a skill that you develop over time. The first time that you try to uncover the root of your emotions, you might not get to the very deepest true core. It takes practice, and it should be a lifelong practice. So how do you actually develop the skill? 2 great methods are journaling and meditating. I know, the things that you're told over and over again are good for you are actually good for you. Maybe there's a reason why you keep hearing about it, because it will benefit your soul. So, maybe you should consider them. The first exercise that I like to do anytime I feel overwhelmingly emotional over a situation is a brain dump through journaling. I personally like to use a Google Doc. I type really fast. I used to work at a call center and I just learned how to type like the frickin' Flash. So I like to sit at the computer and just type away every little thought that's coming to my head. I have ADHD, so the thoughts are just a million miles per second. But I also like using a Google Doc because if I'm not by a computer, I can type it up on my phone and I have access to all of my memories and all the thoughts that I have recorded. You can also just use a Word doc if you like, or any other kind of electronic note-taking device, application, software, or go old school and just use pen and paper. I personally feel like my thoughts go way too fast for me to write down on pen and paper, but if that's what you prefer, then that totally works. All that matters is that you're getting your thoughts out of your head and put into a tangible space where you can then stop and reflect and read the thoughts and the emotions that you had from a separated point of view. Because it's really easy when you have thoughts and you start rationalizing things in your brain that they come and go and you kind of forget about it. But if you write it down and you can read it, review it, it kind of sticks in your brain better. You can analyze things from a more logical perspective. A common emotion that you might want to pull apart and use this method towards is anger, because anger is almost always a cover for other emotions. Let's take another example. Say you're a guy who's having a dinner with a friend and is telling you about a dinner that she's planning with her friends. Oh, but it's a girls only night, so you can't come, sorry. And for some reason, this just really gets under your skin and it bothers you. And you recognize from a logical perspective that it's a totally normal thing for women to have a girls' night, and that as a man you shouldn't be allowed to go to this, and that in general it's totally normal for you to not be invited to every single little thing that your friends are doing every single time. But for some reason, despite logically knowing all this, it just gets under your skin and you can't let it go, and you're like, okay, why am I so annoyed about this? So you go into your Google Doc and you start typing out your thoughts and your emotions, and you start breaking down the anger, and you realize that it makes you feel sad and it feels unfair. It makes you feel excluded, and you think, why should my gender not allow me to experience this? And you might hit a wall where that's all that you discover for the moment, but it's good to have all this written down so that you can later come back to it and read it from a logical perspective. And this is where meditation comes in. So you can practice sitting there, take a deep breath, clear your mind, and ask yourself, why does me feeling excluded because of my gender upset me so much? And then just sit. Don't try to think about the answer. Don't let your thoughts wander. Anytime you have a thought, think it and let it keep going. Don't follow the thought down. And just clear your mind and see if anything just kind of pops in your head without you actually trying to chase any thoughts. And through enough practice of doing this, you might be sitting there peacefully. A memory might pop into your mind. You're a little kid and you're walking through the store with your mom and you pick up a Barbie doll and you're so excited. You ask your mom if she can buy it and you can take it home, but she snatches it from your hands and says, "You can't have that. Barbies are only for girls, and puts it back on the shelf, and you're so upset. You don't understand, I want that. What does my gender have to do with whether or not I can play with a Barbie doll? That makes no sense. And then suddenly you realize you're not upset with your friend that you can't go. You're upset because of this memory from when you were a kid that hit too close to home when you were excluded from something because of your gender. You're really upset because as a kid, your desires were rejected because of sexist social constructs. Now, you might not make these deep connections immediately. You might not have these memories pop into your head every single time that you try to meditate on things, and that's where practice comes in. This practice of getting to the root of your emotions and of emotional intelligence in general is a lifelong practice. And if nothing's coming to you, some other side tips are moving your body. Things like exercise and yoga are great for stirring up your thoughts. And as everyone knows, we all have our best thoughts in the showers. That's another great place. But if you're not consciously and actively trying to get to the root of your emotions on certain things, they might blow over your head and you might just be annoyed at your friend for a month and not even realize why. Just every time you talk to her, it's just like crawling under your skin. But if you're consciously trying to get to the root of your emotion, then one day in the shower, this memory might pop in your head. So instead of suppressing the feelings by distracting yourself and constantly scrolling on social media, if you're not consciously working on this, your shower thoughts are going to be about that $1 million idea where you should sell jelly-filled Reese's peanut butter cups. And they're not going to be about uncovering your emotions. And while it might be a little bit more fun to fantasize about jelly Reese's peanut butter cups, it's not going to grow your intelligence in any way. So, choose what's most important to you. Now, what can you do about it once you've actually uncovered the root cause of your emotions? I'll be making videos on what you can actually do to heal these root causes once you've stumbled upon them. So subscribe if you want to learn how to do that. Once you've strengthened this ability to get to the root cause of your emotional issues, it can strengthen your relationships, either romantic, with your friends, your family, anybody, because instead of being upset or annoyed at people, being angry at them, instead of blowing up over situations, you can explain to them your thought process on why this meant so much to you, why you got so emotional about it, and let them know that it actually wasn't them at all, it was just something from your past, or if it really was them and they did mess up, how maybe you took it out of proportion. Now this maybe isn't that helpful if you're dating a piece of shit like Matt was. If you're dating a Matt, please just leave him. You don't need that shit in your life, okay? Susan, you don't need a Matt in your life. But if you're dating someone who you actually want to have a fulfilling relationship with, these tips can be immensely helpful in living a peaceful and harmonious life. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will have more videos on mental and physical well-being. If you want to learn how to improve your life with the Healing Fairy, then subscribe, like this video if you think that it's helpful. The collective world gets better as we all improve our own well-being. So I appreciate you so much for being on this journey. I love you, and I can't wait to see you guys in the next one.